Hey guys, it's Alyssa. Last week Rochelle did this thing where she gave an opinion about something, and then I did kind of like a follow-up video. And so this week I started to think about what I wanted to talk about, and last week's video was a little bit more, I don't want to say negative, but it wasn't necessarily like a super like happy, upbeat video. So this week I wanted to try to do something a little bit more fun. And there's so many things that I have opinions about that are kind of like controversial, or things that, it seems like everything I was thinking about, like I started to think about how girls can be really catty, and like even amongst your friends, you can be with a friend and they'll be texting another friend about you have actually had and seen that happen. And I just felt like if I went that route, that the video would not be as like entertaining. And I want some of our videos to be serious, but I also want some of them to be just kind of fun and sort of an escape from things. So today I'm going to be talking about kind of like guilty pleasures, or things that just that I do or enjoy that make me happy. And so the first thing that's obviously a guilty pleasure that I talk about in a lot of videos is Pretty Little Liars. I've done whole videos just on that, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but there's just something about the fashion and just like the drama and how they leave you sort of on the edge of your seat in every episode, and you don't really know what's going to happen next, and so you're like dying to watch the next one. There's just something about that that I really enjoy. And I'm curious to know if any of you all are older than 30 and watch Pretty Little Liars. I'd be curious to know, because I've noticed that they market it more for like teens and early college and stuff, but a lot of the people that I know who watch it are late 20s to early 30s, and so I'm curious to know if anyone older than that watches it too, because I'm gonna like you even more than I already do. And then the next thing, I really love the show Heart of Dixie. I've noticed that as I get older and I'm kind of starting to be more appreciative of what I know about my heritage, particularly since I didn't have like a normal parent situation, I'm only finding out a lot of things about kind of like who my family is and what my background was as an adult. And so I've been gravitating towards things that are more Southern, like Southern authors, and books about the South, or TV shows about the South. I mean, and obviously I love shows like Andy Griffith and Mama's Family. That's another thing that I've talked about here on this channel quite a bit. But I really am enjoying Heart of Dixie. Some of the characters kind of remind me of people I grew up with. And then that's another show, which coincidentally, I'm pretty sure that they have some of the same costume designers and makeup artists that Pretty Little Liars does, which is no surprise that I like that one as well. But I love the clothes in that one, and the makeup, and just like the sweetness of this Southern town. I wish Bluebell was a real place, because I would totally move there. And that's a show that I can watch and never get tired of. And that's another thing, much like Pretty Little Liars, if they needed extras, or if I lived, in California and could go audition to be like an extra or something, I would totally do it, because I think I would pee my pants if I had an opportunity to even be like a tiny part of either of those shows. But those are some that I watch all the time. And then another guilty pleasure I have in the same kind of TV genre is I love talk shows. I used to, when I would come home from school when I was in elementary, middle school, high school, I would watch Oprah with my mother and my grandmother, and it got to where like there were some episodes, if I knew it was going to be something I was particularly interested in, I would videotape them on a VCR. For those of you who are really young, you probably don't know what a VCR is, but it's something that you used to be able to put videotapes into and record stuff. But I would record episodes I liked and rewatch them. And this was, like right when before the internet got started, and then right after. So, when I could first start looking up things online, it would take forever for the dial-up to pull it up. I would look up Oprah's shows, like website and stuff. But I've always loved talk shows. And it's not even necessarily something that I'll like sit down and watch, but I like to have it on as background noise just to hear the different opinions. I kind of watch a little bit of everything. I was in like a huge Kathy Lee and Hoda phase and watched that every morning, and now I've noticed that I'm enjoying things like Wendy Williams that are more just like gossip shows a lot better. So I don't know what that says about me, but I've always been a huge talk show person. Any and all kind of talk shows, and kind of Food Network shows too, where they talk to you. I just enjoy that kind of stuff. I just find it kind of relaxing. Another one of my guilty pleasures is I I get my feelings hurt easily. And so sometimes when I'm just kind of having like a bad day, or someone's hurt my feelings, or I feel like I'm trying to think of a way to explain it where I'm not being related to, or I just kind of need to go and like be myself. I am really bad about going to Starbucks, which I know. I think there's Starbucks is sort of controversial, because I think there's like half the population that feels it's just trendy and that's why young girls go to Starbucks. And then I think there's the other people that genuinely like enjoy the drinks and stuff they have there, despite the fact it can be a little expensive sometimes. But I think there's just something like kind of renewing for me about going to Starbucks and then going to like Ulta, or I wish we had a Sephora. If we had a Sephora, that's probably where I would go to Ulta or Target, or like the drugstore, and just looking in the beauty section, particularly at the nail polish, or looking at the lipstick. I think there's just something about a new bottle of nail polish or a new color of lipstick that kind of like changes your outlook on life. And it just makes me feel better to get that Starbucks and to go in there to Ulta. I actually did this yesterday because I didn't have like a bad day, but I had some bathroom issues, not of my own, that I dealt with as a teacher, which that comes with the territory if you teach elementary school. And so it was just like a kind of a high stress day. Like everything was just really fast, and I had a lot of things I had to get done, and all these things are coming up at school, so I'm feeling a little more stressed. And after work, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to Ulta, and I was looking, and I actually found the SE wedding collection, which I had been kind of anticipating, and so I'll do a video about that some other time. But I was just looking at all the colors, and it's kind of like art. It's sort of, to me, looking at like a rack of nail polish is like looking at a fresh box of Crayola crayons. And so I was just like, and it just makes you feel better, particularly if you can afford to get yourself a little treat. Sometimes I think that people don't do that enough. Like there's definitely a fine line between spending too much and not spending enough. Like I have to kind of force my sister to go and just get herself like little treats once in a while. The other day she called me and she was having a really bad day, and I talked her into going to Target and getting a magazine and a Disney movie. I'm like, trust me, it's gonna make you feel better, and it totally did. And that's another thing I think that's a guilty pleasure, are Disney movies. I think that there's some comfort in going back to things from your childhood. Like I love to go back sometimes and watch like Reading Rainbow, or my favorite Disney movie, which is 101 Dalmatians. I also really like Cinderella. I just think there's some comfort in that familiarity from things from your childhood. You don't have to put much thought into them. They just kind of remind you of being a kid when things were easier. Being a grown-up is hard. Reminds you of when your life was easier and you were just kind of being taken care of. And I just think that there's just something to be said for kind of regressing a little bit. I also really am enjoying that they're releasing DVDs of like childhood shows from Nickelodeon. I really wish Disney would do that. Disney had a lot of shows also when I was a kid that were really good. But I mean, they've put like Clarissa and Salute Your Shorts, which I love, and Hey Dude, and all of these cartoons and things on DVD. And I think that there's a desire in people to kind of go back to when TV shows weren't all about like sex or drugs or cheating. I mean, there's a place for those too, but I think there's a lot of us who want like just more simple stuff, like TGIF. And that's what we need. I think we need a new revamped TGIF for people my age to watch to just relieve their stress. I talked a little bit in my last video about how magazines are kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. That's another one that you can just put a magazine in your purse and you can take it, and it's not something like a book where you get caught up in the story and you want to read, or you don't get to a good stopping place. With a magazine, it's kind of a little bit of everything, and so it's particularly good for people like me with a short attention span, because you aren't fixated on one thing for any period of time. Another guilty pleasure I have is the royal family. I actually did a video about this, and then it somehow got deleted before I was able to post it onto YouTube. But I'm a little bit obsessed with Kate Middleton in particular and the royal family. I already love Baby George. I don't know him, but I'm sure I would like him. And I just think Kate Middleton is such a good role model. She seems, even like if you read about her history in her college days, I mean, obviously I don't know her personally, but she just strikes me as somebody that is very classy and kind, and I love the way that she puts herself together. And I don't care what anybody says. I like her eyeliner. You know me. I like a heavy black eyeliner, so I enjoy her makeup too. But she just seems like such a good role model, and I kind of wish that girls would gravitate more towards people like her and less towards, people that are doing a lot of things that young people shouldn't be doing. That's a sign that I'm getting older, that I'm starting to think about things like that. Another guilty pleasure for me is sometimes, particularly this time of year when it's warm, I just come home and open the windows and kind of move my chair a little bit more in the sun and pop a bag of microwavable popcorn and just veg out. I think that there's not much better to me than sitting in my living room in the sun with just some mindless TV on, eating a bag of popcorn and drinking a Diet Coke with lemon. I just think that's where it's at. But anyway, just a few things that I really like. I like hearing what other people like too. So let me know in the comments below. And of course, Rochelle is going to do a video about some of her guilty pleasures too, about things that you kind of go to when you need comfort or just things that make you happy. And kind of, even if it's something that you're like a little bit embarrassed to say that you like, definitely tell me about that too. And I hope you're having a good week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.